We recording?
We are recording. We are ready whenever you are, Maestro.
Okay, no worries. I can do this. Hello there, welcome to a Cap Game. As you can see, Dale's lovely face there.
I don't know what that face was. I'm sorry.
As always, I'm joined by Dale and Phil. Forgot your name there, Phil.
How dare you?
So yeah, it's been quite a week already. It's only Wednesday. It's Hump Day, and it's
probably
huge.
Probably been the biggest week in gaming ever, and I don't think you could say that without it being an understatement, can you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just
it's up there. It's definitely up there.
Yeah.
But before we get into that juicy news, what have you guys been playing? Tell us.
Do you want to go first, Date?
I'll take the stage. I've been reading more. I've been reading more than playing, but a lot of Monster Hunter. Like a lot of Monster Hunter. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I fall asleep, I hear the Monster Hunter music. When I wake up, I feel like I'm going into a quest. It's getting quite ridiculous. But yeah, playing Monster Hunter Rise on the PC, and it's Monster Hunter, you know. You don't get much better than Monster Hunter games, let's be fair. Greatest franchise out there. I'm saying it. I'm underlining it. I'm full stop in it. Oh, it's fun. I'm playing with a load of people that have played bits and bobs of Monster Hunter, and it's made me realize how hard the game actually is.
Yeah.
For new players. But yeah, I've been I've been playing a lot. Like a lot. So I'm yeah. That's been me. Just Monster Hunter and reading, like literally it.
Nice.
Well, I remember you saying on Twitter the other day that we should basically pivot to become a Capcom fan page.
We should do.
Because I've been playing. I've just recently bought myself Resident Evil Revelations, which I'd never played before. I've been playing through that, so that's been
quite interesting. Which one's Revelations?
So it's technically a side story. Like it was released 10 years ago. Actually, it's coming up to the 10th anniversary, but it was really released the Nintendo 3DS, which I didn't have at the time, so that's why I never played it. Like a few months before Resident Evil 6 came out, but it's set just after Resident Evil 4. So it's quite good so far. A usual sort of mix you'd expect, like some good horror reaction set pieces, and then some absolutely terrible design character choices. For example, one of the partner AI NPCs is a woman who's walking around with literally wearing one trouser. Like you got a one leg bare and one with like some sort of like leather thing.
So is that what do we call this one trouser?
It's trousers, isn't it? So trouser is the singular.
That's yeah.
Or a single pant if you want to be more.
What do you call
informal.
1 leg pants?
I don't know.
A pant.
A leg sleeve.
A leg sleeve. Yeah, never thought about that.
But yeah, I mean, it's not very practical given she's meant to be an agent for like an anti-bioterrorism paramilitary organization. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that like mercenaries don't go around with their asses out in war zones. But
she's like the people that like I can only sleep when I have like one leg out of the bed. Maybe she can only fight when one leg's out, one leg's in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. We all think it might be like
one leg or stay home.
Exactly. It's just her comfort. She's comfy like that.
I guess so. But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's one of those things. I think Capcom do that in general, like this sort of mix of something that's really good and really entertaining and really well built world with stuff that's just completely bizarre and makes no sense, and it just somehow
Monster Hunter
meshes together.
Everything in Monster Hunter is an amazing world, but then just things don't make sense.
Some of the armors in there, how do you move?
Do you know what always confused me? Phil is gonna throw you off because I don't think you ever played World. But Lloyd, how did they get all those boats to the main like island thing in World? Remember all the boats? They wasn't just boats that made up the floor. They were boats on the like mountainside and.
But there's like dragons in there basically.
I suppose
so,
maybe
you
they're
know,
getting like
I think a boat floating in air that magically got something built underneath it is the least of your worries.
It just I don't know, man. That place really confused me, and then the iPhone one was just what's that?
Yeah, just don't question Capcom.
Yeah,
I think their mantra is because we could. Like it's just.
yeah, that's Capcom.
That's
and
Capcom. That is.
we eat it up and we love it. You know, we love their absurdity.
Capcom, everyone, we're the fan page now.
Until Microsoft buy them, and then we're just going to be Microsoft fanboys because
Okay.
So what Capcom games have you been playing this week, Lloyd? Or have you betrayed the franchise?
Well, I've been playing. Capcom recently bought a studio called Drinkbox. No, they never. I've been playing Nobody Saves the World. That came out yesterday. I didn't play anything Monday. And yeah, Nobody Saves the World came out yesterday. I've been excited for that since I played the demo. I think it was like November time. It's just really cool RPG, hack and slash. It's just simple. It's just fun. I've played about 2 hours of it and I'm loving it so far and caught up with the demo, so I'm hoping to get some more in of that over the week.
Can you say it's a game that I should definitely look at?
Yeah, you want to enjoy it.
Thought that I'd love.
Yeah, and it's online co-op. Yeah, so we can play together.
And
Xbox Game Pass.
Oh,
sold.
Pivoting into our amazing thing. But before we do pivot,
Xbox are really everywhere at the moment.
They are everywhere. They're doing incredible. But what I was going to say is, it just looks stupid. And I like stupid.
Yeah, literally. It's like I think I said about it in the article I did that it's just wacky and crazy and like every character and your character's naked, so sold.
I did see when you were streaming it. You're just like the first thing. You're like, you've got no pants on. Where's your pants?
Actually,
where's your one pant leg?
Where's your trouser at?
Oh
yeah, so
don't even have one trouser, just no trousers.
Just have a sleeve. So yeah, Xbox. This brings us beautifully into the news. Xbox
what a week
is in the process of currently buying Activision-Blizzard. What are your guys' thoughts of this crazy news? Who fought the day?
Well, considering their goal is to reach 3 billion players, this is a way of doing it. They're the thing that gets me is Sony are in the process of revamping what do they call it, Project Spartacus or Spartus or something like that.
I think Spartacus was the name according to the. I thought, was it legal or was it official? I can't remember.
I don't actually know, but I remember seeing it about. Can you imagine being the one being like, we're going to compete with Game Pass, and then you see that in the news? What do you do? Like what do you do? Like it's just I don't know. I love it. I think it's funny.
Somebody doesn't like the console wars.
This is the thing. I don't like the console wars, but I'm an Xbox boy through and through. So it
Dale's mantra is, I don't like the console wars. I like what happens when they are won.
Yeah, this is a win, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely a win. It's a battle in the war, isn't it? Like at the moment.
Yeah, but I think this is Xbox officially saying they're coming away from caring about the console kind of rivalries, and I'll dig into what I mean about that a bit later on. But this isn't about the console kind of wars, the console things. This is about something different, I think.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, like their branch, the two big acquisitions from this are King and I was gonna say Bethesda then, but they've already got them, and Blizzard. King, who are dominant in the mobile industry. They also get COD Mobile, which is huge in the mobile scene, and they're just making their presence bigger in the mobile world and making their presence bigger in the PC world. Which is what they wanted. This is what they needed. This is about making themselves bigger in those two industries. Yeah, two industries.
Places.
Well, those two player bases.
Places.
This is what it's about.
Yeah. How about you, Phil? Sure.
I mean,
As a Sony boy.
I mean, leaving that aside, because I think the stuff that people have been talking about with relation to Sony and kind of the response is quite interesting, and it's not always something I think like that. We'll come on to that more, I think, later in the show, because there's always that, like, a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, will Sony have to buy Capcom or buy something like that?" Like, because they're comparing it. I don't necessarily think that's the case, and I don't think the answer to, like, one big company hoovering up loads of things to try and create more and more of a monopoly is the other company doing the same. Because I think, like I say, I'll get into more on that. I don't think that's necessarily something that we want. I think, personally, I prefer there being more third-party stuff out there, and like stuff like Capcom. I mean, it's been like the stuff that I like Resident Evil, has been exclusive to different consoles over the years, from the GameCube to the PlayStation to 3DS and whatever. But it's a multi-platform thing, and I think it's stronger for that generally.
Yeah.
But not, and I'm not talking about individual companies. Like I say, I'm not interested personally in X, Y, or Z companies. Bottom line, that's for their CFOs to worry about. Or from a gaming standpoint, do gamers get benefit from it? Are these things innovative, creative, something new and genuinely interesting? Because I think that's probably the big thing that a lot of people see from this, and to an extent the stuff that Sony's. But although I think Sony hasn't been buying on anywhere near the same scale, because it's not as big as Microsoft in terms of outside. I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but although their gaming revenue is higher, their overall revenue as a company is lower than Microsoft.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the right thing. So that they've obviously got different things, but it's like the Disneyfication of visual entertainment. There's always a risk in that everything becomes more. It's not just a monopoly. Then it becomes more to conform to a certain way of doing things, and everything becomes samey and all this sort of stuff. And if everything's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe loses its interests, that kind of thing. So there's all that sort of stuff. But I think the big thing, kind of on the other side of it as well, will be how it affects the employees in Activision-Blizzard. So there's kind of two aspects to that. One is obviously the stuff that's been going on with Bobby Kotick, with the sexual harassment and abuse allegations and the strikes that have been going on. We don't know what exactly is going to happen with it, because I think the official word is that they're not going to officially take over until 2023. When it's done, that's the basic thing. And then reports seem to vary on whether or not Kotick will be in place. Like I said, not that that's the end game. He's not the only problem, but obviously he's seen as a symbol of it, and that's the big thing, is that he'll still be in place. Or if he isn't, knowing the way these things work, he's more likely than anything to get a golden parachute and like sort of be sent off that way. I mean, my personal take on it is that Microsoft will do some sort of surface level thing. They've talked about bringing them into Xbox culture. There's a lot of things they can fix there. Again, we'll go into that in more depth when we get to that subject, but I think a lot of it will be surface level for good PR, and it will be genuinely beneficial, but it won't go deeper than the surface, because at the end of the day, Microsoft's still another massive multinational corporation, and no matter what, whether he's a nice guy or whatever, Phil Spencer's a CEO. He's not a worker.
He's not just a nice guy.
He's if you're a CEO, you've got different interests than someone who has to earn a wage for a living. That sort of stuff. So I think it'll be surface level. There will be improvements, but there'll still be lots of stuff there. And I also think it'll be interesting because Microsoft isn't exactly the most pro-union company in the universe. Not that many are, but Activision stuff has sparked huge amounts of unionization. So whether they'll, on the one hand, fix the problem, on the other hand, squash the union, that'll be interesting to see. And then the other question is, what always comes after any big, massive corporate merger in anywhere in the world, in any industry? Layoffs. That'll be a thing to see whether that happens. So there's a lot of stuff I can see why, like for the stuff that's come out from like workers involved, does seem to say that they're worried about a lot of this stuff and uncertain, and I can see why. So it's a mixed bag. I think is probably the big takeaway for me. The mixed bag.
It's quite interesting you said about the employees saying they were worried. Because I read Jason Schreier's tweet yesterday, and it basically said that there was also a lot of positivity from the workers. Because this is like for anything, this is like the merger that has caused. This is the acquisition that has caused the most spark, I think, because of all the stuff kind of going on with Activision-Blizzard, and I think that at the forefront of this, like there's a lot of gaming working culture that is going to be brought into question because of this now. So I think yeah, it's like so yeah, it's like this is the biggest point now. Where I think where what people are talking about is how it's going to affect the Blizzard Activision culture. Obviously, with Microsoft, like you said, saying that they were going to bring the Xbox culture into the into Activision Blizzard. Like, how do you think that's going to go down? I know you kind of said it was a bit surface level, but what are your takes on the big changes that could happen?
Is that aimed at me in specific or both?
Either opens the floor.
Personally, I would hope it's not going to be surface level. You know,
Yeah.
And with the way that Phil's talking about a lot of things as well, it doesn't feel like it, because he's even, I don't know where I read this, so I can't directly quote, but he was talking about like them, like Microsoft not, or Xbox not being squeaky clean. They've had some stuff in the past. They're owning up and they're changing all the things that they can change. So I just personally don't see him spending close to what 70 bill to go surface level fix it. I think they're gonna do what they can. Well, I'd hope they're gonna go do what they can and sort things out. You know,
because the big thing here, I think, is like how these big massive corporations have these massive PR spins on things as well, which is another thing to take into consideration. It's like, okay, because obviously everything that's going on, everyone kind of wants to be on the right side of the argument. Like there is definitely a right and wrong side in this argument, in my opinion. Like you shouldn't be treated this way. Like with all the rumors that's going around, if these if these rumors are true, like you can't go and be treated that way. That's just completely wrong. But obviously, like PR is a big thing. So it's all like it is kind of a thing of you got to take it with that bit of pinch of salt and have a bit of cynicism about it, I guess. And kind of. But like because me and Phil were chatting about it yesterday on Twitter, and it was like I kind of said that I do hope that it kind of comes to there's a lot more. It goes a lot surface, like lower than the surface, I guess. Well, I think we're all in the same boat. We kind of all hope that happens, but yeah, well, it's just kind of wait and see game now.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, it's still a year to wait now.
Yeah, and then you've got the year or two after that, then for everything to restructure and everything, which I think will happen. How about you, Phil?
I mean, it's when I say surface level, I think, like you say, I do think there will be genuine kind of benefits from it's. I mean, one of the things that was kind of interesting to note was obviously the kind of overwhelmingly positive tone that they took in terms of obviously all the franchise that they acquired. Like I'm looking at the release on the Xbox Wire, and then this sort of one kind of bit, like they crafted this paragraph like really, really well when you actually talk about this. So that's almost as a company, Microsoft is committed to our journey for inclusion in every aspect of gaming, both among employees and players. We deeply value individual studio cultures. We also believe that creative success and autonomy go hand in hand with treating every person with dignity and respect. We hold all teams and all leaders to this commitment, and we're looking forward to extending our culture of proactive inclusion to the great teams across Activision Blizzard. And now that's obviously in and of itself, I think, an extremely positive thing. I mean, it's been designed and written to walk a line as well, because there's the line between, they've, like when they said they're reevaluating their relationship back a couple of months ago, was it? they've got to walk a line between, obviously, if they can't ignore this because it's huge news. They definitely can't say, oh, well, actually, this is all a load of nonsense. But they also can't turn around and say, actually, Bobby Kotick's a knobhead, because that's there's a politics to it, isn't it? There's that sort of thing they've got to navigate.
I just got this image of Phil walking into the offices, seeing all the bad stuff, and being like, "Right, they're not fixing it. Buy them. We're doing it ourselves. Come on, buy them. We'll fix it. Yeah, screw it." Sorry,
but yeah, like that. So there's that. So I think when they talk about a lot of this, there's loads of stuff that can be fixed just by virtue of being more in line with like Microsoft, even if Microsoft is not like it's just any other bog standard employer, not the best, not the worst, just an employer. If you go into that, and if, for example, if the wage differentials are more brought in line, so if they've got, I don't know what they've got in terms of whether the salary scales are independent by company or whether they've got a whole structure across Microsoft. But if it's the latter, then that immediately fixes the fact that the disparity between the average worker's wage for a developer in Activision Blizzard versus the amount that Bobby Kotick's making is, I think, the largest in the industry, or one of them, if not the.
It's like I think he is the largest.
The biggest disparity between the two. That I can imagine being fixed quite quickly, and like say anything that's negative towards employees that doesn't help the bottom line, because I think there's a difference there as well, isn't there? There's like, crunch culture, as awful as it is, from a CEO, you can justify that on the basis of, well, it gets our game out on time, which gives us profit and all this sort of stuff. There's profitable worker abuse, and then there's non-profitable worker abuse if you're in that sort of position. So, and the non-profitable stuff is the stuff that brings you lawsuits, like the sexual harassment, or that generates all this huge negative publicity. So that's I think where all the stuff that's doing that gets shut down, or shut down enough that if it's not being noticed, at least, which I know is a very cynical, very cynical take on it, but that the sort of thing. And then on the other hand, like I've just a cursory search for like Microsoft and unions. The last thing I found was an article from 1st December about Microsoft Workers Union in Korea going on strike in response to inadequate pay and deteriorating conditions. Workers employed as technicians, researchers, developers, software, and customer support. Basically, they got offered like a paltry pay rise in comparison to like 47% profit jump or something like that. So it's a bit all over the place. But yeah, so I think there'll be immediate positives, but again, Microsoft is, at the end of the day, still a big, massive company, and there's probably still going to be problems and challenges with that. So I don't know how much of that change how much change you'll see, I suppose, is the question there. Plus, there's the other question of, whatever Phil Spencer says, he's the head of Microsoft Gaming. He's not the head of all of Microsoft. Yeah. There's still, if something like, someone higher up than him, even if he's got the most positive attitude in the world to like trade unions, there might be someone higher up that goes, sorry, no, shut that. We want them busted. We want that shut down.
Yeah, it's because you said about non-profitable and profitable like crunch and stuff, and I can't even get my words out. I don't know what's wrong with me. This is every podcast recently. I've just struggled. Jason Schreier, another one from Jason Schreier, because he says in a tweet, which I found quite interesting, was, whilst monopolies are undoubtedly bad news for the video game industry, this acquisition could have some positive effects on Blizzard, both culturally and strategically. Under Activision, every game had to be $1 billion franchise. Under Xbox, that will likely change.
Oh, so we might see some old Activision Blizzard series come back.
Yeah, because obviously Activision's was policy was kind of a bit more like churn out the hits sort of
Yeah,
thing.
it's got to be a hit.
Yeah, and whilst I don't think that's Xbox's game.
No,
And
Xbox are just, if they think it'll sell a bit, I suppose, and if people will like it, they're going to put it out. And
yeah,
I think they've shown now with a lot of games that they've allowed to come through, and games they've funded and stuff.
because
So,
I think.
like,
Go on.
sorry, go on.
No, go on.
Well, I was going to say in the terms of like Ori.
Yeah.
And the Will of the Wisp, obviously one of my favorite games. I don't see that going to Activision and Activision being like, yeah, green like this is going to go forward. This is going to make us millions. Whereas Xbox, which is like, yeah, no, we like that idea. That sounds amazing. Make it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's exactly how it went, but like you wouldn't have games like this under Activision because it had to be like you said, it had to be a hit. It had to be.
Yeah, because even if you look at that from a worker standpoint, like that multi-billion,
Multi-billion,
struggling so much, multi-billion,
it goes million, billion, dillion,
multi-billion yearly franchises. That's going to have a massive amount of pressure on the workers, managers, and then it just goes up the chain and it goes down the chain. Sorry, so
strangles creativity as well. You can't come up with new things. There's got to be stuff that just works, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a COD every single year, and as much as I love Call of Duty, I think COD could do with a year off to cool down and figure out what it's doing. You know,
yeah, definitely, yeah. And I mean, like, because obviously we were just on about the treatment of workers, like on that perspective, from like crunch and everything else, and that sort of pressure coming down the chain, like that because that causes massive problems. You know, I think we can all say we've been in positions where pressures come from the top and it's come down on us as the lowly workers. Do you know what I mean? So so
I mean, well, look at the state the new COD's been released in. It's not in the best of states.
No.
Like it's not looking good at all, and for something that's meant to be like sponging, something that's meant to be propelling its like esports scene. It's esports scene that has a £25 million buy-in to the franchise. You'd expect it to come out in a cleaner state, but it's not looking too hot, you know.
No, because I think the best comparison for that is the Halo. The
Yeah,
Halo.
Look how amazing Halo is.
Because that was pushed back as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was pushed back. It wasn't. And how many years between Halo 5 and Infinite?
God, a good couple of years, right? I don't know when Guardians come out, but
it's got to be at least like 2017, 18, sort of
something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, like you've got to look at that. Like they don't need to churn out those hits. So hopefully, like that's another step in the right direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, like in general, how do you think this is now going to impact Activision-Blizzard's franchises? We kind of briefly gone over, like how do we think this is going to impact them? Because we kind of briefly gone over, the creativity stranglehold.
This is going to be amazing.
The big one that I think people aren't talking about as much is the mobile games, because that's like. Like it's up until now, and I mean it probably will continue. I think to a degree that like it's almost like two separate worlds, isn't it? Like there's gaming, and then there's mobile gaming, almost like separate thing. Like that sort of like your mum plays Candy Crush type thing. It's just, but it's like it's. Is it the bigger industry of the two? Like, is it like as much as
I'm pretty sure it's quite a lot bigger. Wait there. Let me double check. I'm just looking at the that.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I saw something somewhere like 59%, but it might be higher. That looks like old statistics.
Because we've seen a lot of companies buy into mobile now, like Take-Two just bought Zynga.
Oh, they did, didn't they? That was the big talking points. Yeah.
Because that was Farmville, wasn't it? And then Candy Crush, and then I mean, you COD Mobile, PUBG Mobile, so
there's a massive market to be had, and with the improvements in phone, I think we kind of said last week as well.
Yeah,
about the improvements in phones and stuff.
Well, it matches where Xbox are going to.
Yeah,
Because Xbox are doing the whole cloud gaming, and I don't know if you've used cloud gaming. It can be a bit laggy, but it's actually incredible. It's so cool.
yeah,
Just to literally connect your controller to your phone and just play games on your phone, just stream.
yeah. It's going to take a lot more bandwidth for the games rather
Yeah.
than, like, say, a film, for example.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a bit laggy. You
Mhm.
know, it's still a work in progress, basically. But it's interesting what Phil Spencer came out and said about PlayStation gamers in this as well, where he said that we don't want to pull those communities that away from the games that they've got as well.
I think though you could take that as they're not going to pull like Warzone
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that from them, you know,
Mm.
because they didn't do that with the takeover of Bethesda. They didn't take what was that awful Fallout 76 and
Definitely.
Elder Scrolls Onlines and stuff like that. That's all still
Yeah,
there. It's still going
yeah.
on.
They've already announced they're going to keep any agreeing contracts between them. So it's the same deal as the Bethesda in that sense. But in terms of, like, go on.
So I was trying to think about this, and like again, this is kind of someone would have to crunch the numbers and stuff to get an accurate depiction. But just sort of trying to square this circle in my head. So there's Microsoft, although there's the Xbox console that generally sells at a loss, as I understand it, and obviously that's
Yeah.
not their priority. So they want more people subscribe to Game Pass, for example. If you've got something like Warzone or any other, like anything that's a free to play in particular, like that's where the money from that isn't from people have bought this game or people have bought console. The money of that is from all the microtransactions and all the ongoing things like that. And
season passes and stuff.
the thing that I'm wondering there is, like, if you pull those sorts of stuff away from being on every single possible console and platform going to make it exclusive to yours, that doesn't necessarily, because that's not the kind of game that sells consoles, as far as I understand it. So
No, there's no profit.
would that basically mean you lose profit?
Yeah,
you lose extra.
Call of Duty kind of sold PlayStations for quite some time. It's been over PlayStation for a bit, and I was reading an article from GameBiz, and they had an interview on there with someone called Carol Severin from Media Research, and she says, I'll quote it because I won't do it justice, but it says the biggest hits in this sense, which are pretty sure she's talking about, I think it's games on all platforms, like all multi-platforms. Activision's Call of Duty and Take-Two's Grand Theft Auto. Call of Duty played by 55% of console gamers, and then 41% for Grand Theft Auto. And then, like, it's nothing else compared to, like, games like Fortnite and Assassin's Creed are played by 28%, FIFA by 23%, and Spider-Man by 17%. That's 55% of people. If Call of Duty goes to Xbox, are gonna get Xboxes to play Call of Duty. You know? That's going to sell consoles. And because it was with PlayStation, PlayStation got everything first. They got all the sponsorships, all the CDL was run with PlayStation controllers on the PlayStation for years. If you're a young player that wants to get into the good scene, you're gonna buy a PlayStation. But now that's all gonna change. You know?
Yeah,
So I'd imagine COD. Sorry, go on.
I was thinking about it like in the same sort of logic as, like, because if they're in mobile games now, and they said, right, to play our mobile games, you have to get them through our apps. You have to have a Game Pass subscription or something like that.
I don't think they'll do that.
Would, I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to do that, but like that's sort of the same logic, isn't it? Like, you not only have to, we own the game, but it only comes on platforms or services that we own. That again, although it seems on the surface like sensible, because then you're monopolizing it, it also takes away a whole bunch of them. Because the other thing as well is how many people who've got like, say if you've just bought a brand new console, for example, and you've spent 500 quid on it, and you're not like, some sort of middle class layabout with rich parents or whatever, how much you're going to be able to afford to get like a new different console just because they've taken that and pulled it away and stuff like that. So I think there's probably a lot more variables in there.
Yeah, I guess so. I think COD, out of all the acquisitions, is the one that's the most interesting to talk about. Because they've always had like marketing rights. Is it advertisement? I'm not sure.
Advertisement.
It's advertisement rights and stuff. I know, yeah. With one or the other, like it was Xbox's baby for quite a long time, and then it was PlayStation's baby. Obviously, now it's gonna be Xbox's baby. I wonder what they do with COD, because COD's a very interesting one.
Yeah, because yeah, it like I've seen a lot of tweets and comments like people are like they wouldn't spend this amount of money just to put it on PlayStation anyway.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. Why would you? Why would you spend close to 70 billion to give your Well, they're not a competitor, but they are a competitor. Let's be fair,
But yeah, if Xbox are removing themselves from this thing and their true focus is like to give a wider berth, do they take COD away from PlayStation? I don't know.
It's
This is the thing,
because it is really interesting.
It's kind of this thing of they're saying one thing and then let's be real, like PlayStation has a massive player base. It has a massive fan base.
No, of course.
So do they then take that away? Do they?
But then I guess the argument is Microsoft, or we just call it Xbox, has a bigger player base now because of PC too. PlayStation is just solely console, and bringing it over, you're bringing it to two massive.
But that's what I'm saying. You're not taking it away from Xbox. You're just keeping it on PlayStation. You're not making it exclusive. There's no,
of course. It's interesting.
And if it's microtransaction based, then all those players are still spending money, but that money goes directly into your bottom line rather than it's not moved anywhere, but it's going into you rather than into a third party.
Yeah.
But they still have to buy the game on PlayStation. They still buy the game, so they'll still be making sales from that.
Because the thing is now is we're in a world where it's no longer just how many units does that game sell.
Yeah.
Especially a game like Call of Duty, you're looking at everything that comes after that.
The battle passes, how much?
So yeah, I think this is the acquisition
I struggle saying it.
This is the buy.
Can we just say the buy thing?
The buy thingy. This is the buy thingy where I think Microsoft are going to put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
And what their true intentions are, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's so much huge things with the Activision-Blizzard like in their catalog.
There's so many huge game series in there that. Oh man, it's exciting though. Especially if you have Game Pass and stuff. The amount of stuff that you're gonna get on there.
Yeah.
Like I was speaking to a friend who was talking about buying a console for their child, and I was like, I don't see why you don't buy an Xbox now. If you're buying a new console, like for game, like you buy a new console, spend £10, you got hundreds and hundreds of games. They're not just like, oh, you are used. A game that come out 18 years ago that we've put 3 new buttons to press in. It's games that come out day one on that console. I think value for money now, Xbox is it. I don't think you can get better value. Like you just can't.
Yeah. If for me, like I was saying this to one of my friends the other day because he was like, "Should I buy the new Xbox?" And I was and he's always been on about getting a PC as well. So I was like, the best combo is to get a PC and a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Because obviously you've got the exclusives of
And
PlayStation and a Switch.
And a Switch. We always forget about Nintendo, but they're just in their corner doing their own thing. They don't care.
Nintendo are not part of this conversation.
They probably
it's in the palm of your hand and it's there.
They probably saw the buy and they were like, you know what? Fair. Hope you have a lovely time.
Yeah.
Nintendo
will do what Nintendo do. Like, they're not part of this conversation. They don't need to be.
Until Microsoft buys them.
Until Microsoft buys them.
Oh God!
Kind of hope never happens.
Well, I mean, it's no secret that they want a Japanese studio, and my hope is that it's Capcom that they get. Like, oh, I'd love them to get Capcom. Holy hell!
Yeah, they want
it's no secret they want someone in Japan. You know, that's their next big thing. And I mean, if they're throwing around 70 billion. Everyone's got to be afraid.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
I don't know.
do you want an interesting stat? again, from that article I read from Carol Severin, she said that at the time of writing, so I think the article come out, well, it was yesterday or today, Microsoft market cap is 2.3 trillion. So market cap wise, making a 68.7 billion acquisition is like Sony, who has a 146 billion market cap, to make a 4.4 billion acquisition. So like there's no meaningful content that Sony can reply with. Like the money, the just big dick energy, it's just I saw the tweet before I went live and I was just there going, what? They did what? So
It's a ballsy
yeah,
move.
it's 2 trillion.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
I get excited finding a pound in my coat.
Is that Xbox or Microsoft as a whole? Sorry.
That's Microsoft, but
Okay, yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But then for Sony, it's 1.46 billion, not PlayStation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was the
yeah.
comparison.
Okay.
It's
I forgot where we were before your interesting fact.
yeah. Sorry, I've lost myself. I was reading the fact, and we talked about the money, and I was like, I need to get this fact because it blew my mind.
We were talking. I was
brilliant.
talking about my friend wanting a PlayStation. Nintendo came in.
Oh, we were on about Japanese.
Studios,
Japanese
yeah, okay.
studio. But what was the main? So we were talking about the franchises, right?
Yeah, the franchises. Yeah,
I think the most. Go on.
I've got another one. Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. What a twist! What a twist! Because they're like for me anyway. They're like the defining characters of the PlayStation 1 era. Like,
and it was you like Spyro or you like Crash.
Crash, yeah. And now we gotta like PlayStation or Xbox. So we get it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's moved up. But like they're defining, and now look where they're at.
Yeah, it's
come full circle.
It is crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not the first time that's happened. You can now get. I mean, it's now standard. No one's shocked by it anymore. But the very first time I saw Sonic on a Nintendo game was just like,
oh yeah,
what?
I can imagine.
that's gonna be cool. I would like another Crash or Ups. I was always a Crash kid growing up.
I was a Spyro kid.
Yeah,
man.
see, I hate you.
Crash was awful. Fight me.
Well, if you want to spend a lot of, apparently Crash Bandicoot 4 is one of the hardest trophy. If you want it to 100% just because of the challenges in it, that's apparently a very hard game. So
we talked about this last week. We don't do trophies anymore.
We don't do trophies.
We're too grown up.
But going back onto the franchises, for me, I am stupidly excited. I am so excited because of the esports scene. They now own Major League Gaming, which I completely forgot that MLG was still a thing. But MLG runs all the Activision-Blizzard stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And with the success of Halo, Microsoft are obviously going to be looking at they just bought 2 franchised esports in Overwatch and CODs. So
yeah, it's huge.
damn.
If there's a huge focus on that now, that would be cool.
Yeah, that's my huge because it's not just those 2 they picked up. Hearthstone's massive as well.
Oh
Hearthstone's
yeah,
got a massive esports.
that's Blizzard, isn't it?
Yeah, you got StarCraft, which is one of the OG, esports. Still, well, I think their last Worlds was 2019, but with how Microsoft like to release games, they're probably going to get something new in that vein. And WoW. WoW has a big esports scene. There's their championships, their worlds. And obviously, Microsoft know how important it is with Halo and them setting up the worlds, the roadmaps, putting all the skins in the game.
I would quite like to see the Overwatch thing revived again.
Yeah, I mean, Overwatch 2 has been in hell, and I don't think that scene knows what's going on. So,
because I loved Overwatch, and I enjoyed watching it as well. That was I tried to get into COD, but I just couldn't do it. It wasn't for me. I kind of just dabbled in and out, but Overwatch was where I was I like this, I enjoy this.
Yeah, Overwatch was fun. Overwatch was quite confusing to watch though at times.
Yeah,
because there's a lot going on.
But I think because I played it quite regularly as well,
Yeah.
I kind of understood it. Whereas COD, I was like so much like, oh, I'm on a roll. I could keep playing this, and then I would have a bad game, and I'm like, yeah, I'm never playing this again, and I literally would never play it again.
I've
But
got a very bad love-hate toxic
yeah,
relationship with COD. But no, the whole esports thing really excites me.
Yeah, that's
like what's happening with COD at the moment really upsets me. I know COD's not the biggest of esports. It's not.
But
I love
it's
Call
so
of
funny
Duty.
watching the horrendous
like
clipping and stuff, and the hands. Do you remember that?
the hands. Like last year's CDL production was just awful. Like so
and the green screen.
the green screens, but like with what they're doing with Halo and the massive blow up with it, I'm just so excited for what they're gonna do with those two. You know, well, Hearthstone's in a different world of its own. Hearthstone doesn't care. Like I haven't watched Hearthstone for quite some time because every time I do, I end up dropping like 80 to 90 quid on the game, and I can't justify that anymore. It's a lot of money for a game.
Just to kind of finish this section now.
Go for it.
Xbox Game Pass. I got a question. Is Game Pass just too good to turn down now? Is it the ultimate subscription service?
Yep. I like. It's a yeah. Like you can't even. I don't even think there's an argument against it. I really don't. It's like, look at it. You get EA games, Ubisoft games. You get now Bethesda games. You're gonna get Activision-Blizzard games. You get all the Microsoft first. Well, I guess
the Ubisoft actually gone through it.
I'm not sure what that is, but I know like a lot of the games are coming first day now. Extraction's coming first day, so
I know Rainbow Six was. Yeah. Oh yeah, Extraction. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just, I thought.
I don't know how you can say it's bad. Like how?
I have Game Pass, and I think so. How many months have I been paying for this now? So the like, obviously I've got it because I've got PC. I can play. In theory, I can play games anyway. Went to download Halo Infinite, and it basically just laughed at me graphics card and said no.
Phil, it's okay. One day we'll get you a good one.
But yeah, I mean, I'm in a position where I mean, I could technically afford it, but given the stuff that I've got spending on this year and stuff like that, I'm not in a position to like splurge on. Certainly not a GPU for ridiculous prices, or even my like backup kind of thing was to kind of have with PlayStation 5 as the console where I go to play all the the stuff that like I'm absolutely immersed in, and then when I want to play other random games that I don't need to own, I get an Xbox Series S because they're easier to get than an X, and they're just sort of digital download, dead quick, play those sorts of things, and I think that would probably, because I've always tried to like play as much as possible. I although I've still got my Mega Drive, I did at one point have a SNES as well, which has unfortunately gone by the wayside at some point in the past. Because that's the thing, is like I've always like play the games you like, and obviously if they're on different consoles and you can get both, do it.
Yeah,
but it's not always possible financially, unfortunately.
I've kind of thought of a negative thing after my little rant about how good it is. Is that this might end up leading to what's happened with the film and TV industry.
The Disneyfication of games.
Yeah. But a quick side note, how much did Disney pay for Marvel?
$4 billion, I think. Yeah, it was puny compared to this.
Yeah, the games industry makes so much more money. This is the weirdest thing, though. Is like far more people in the world have seen a movie than have played a video game. But video games are worth far and above more in terms of like pure dollar value or pound value or whatever than
the superior entertainment. God,
I think that the weird thing, and I'm gonna like with Marvel, was when Disney bought them and what they're going to be worth now. Because
that became something.
What was that? Sorry, Phil.
I mean, this is the thing that I think people forget. It's like when when Iron Man first came out, or Captain America, they weren't like Marvel's Batman and Superman. They were B-list, C-list characters that nobody cared about.
Yeah,
The big ones were Spider-Man, X-Men, Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Despite how awful every single movie iteration of that is.
Oh, they're terrible, isn't they? I watched some clips from the original Fantastic Four with what's his name playing Mr. Fantastic, and the stretching looks so awful. It looks so bad. With the Welsh guy.
With Chris Evans as Human Torch.
Yeah.
When he was
Flame
skinny.
on! Yeah.
When he, it's a because obviously Disney kind of did make Marvel what it is today. In all fairness to him, but then Lucasfilm was the same amount. So I'm saying that, and that's obviously Star Wars. So, but yeah, just so we're gonna, now that question's been asked, the rest of the industry.
Who cares? Get an Xbox.
The big uns. We'll start off with big uns. Sony. What do they do now? Should they do anything now?
Well, that's the big question that I was saying, like, because everything I've seen is saying like they should buy Capcom or Sega or something. I was like, I mean, if it's purely in terms of like this like zero-sum game where there will be nothing left, there will be no third-party developers, we must gobble up everything and make it into this sort of two clashing monopolies. Do we want that?
Hey, don't forget Nintendo. Thing? Sorry.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Nintendo.
We always forget Nintendo.
Again, we don't talk about Nintendo in this conversation.
Oh, sorry. We shunning it away, are we?
Yeah, we're not. This Twitter has, so we must.
No, well, I mean, Nintendo. Although I think the same thing is true of Sony, but it's treated slightly differently. But Nintendo have kind of carved out their own niche, and like they do they've got a specific type of their place in the gaming industry is there, and they kind of just So, I mean, they're all competitors, but in the sense that they're all going for the same buck, I suppose. But it's like they're not competitors because this is the thing. I don't think any of these companies actually compete as much as their like fanboys on Twitter compete.
No.
Like this was like Phil Spencer when he was asked about the Sony. Basically, the PS Now, PS Plus merging to become like a full game. He basically just was like, "Yeah, I think it's the right move," and the sort of thing is just looking at it from a, one capitalist enterprise to another. To sort of like, that's probably your best way of making more money from your casual gamers who don't want to actually sit and buy the games and own them forever. That's a really good way of doing it, particularly stuff you can just dip into and stream gaming and stuff like that. Because I don't think I'm not sure that if we reach a world where all gaming is owned by Microsoft, I'm not saying this is within the next. That probably wouldn't even be within the next 10 years. That'd take like 20 years or something like that. But if we reach that point, is that a good thing, or does that mean that there's no competition? We've got one overarching thing, therefore it's like, right, well, we're making, all the money's coming in anyway. Is there going to be as much internal competition? If they own all the shooters, do they need as many shooters? Because they're all basically, people are going to buy them. Can we cut some of them? These things are a bit too risky, a bit too creative, a bit too outside the box. Can we get rid of that? Monopoly, I mean, I'm not saying like competition is in and of itself automatically what drives innovation, because I think humans are creative anyway, but Monopoly is definitely bad for creativity as far as I can, as far as you can see that's
it's kind of like the way I see it is like you said, if they had a shooter and they had no competition with that shooter, would they then finance that shooter division? Because that's what it would be. Each genre would have its own division in these companies or a studio or whatever. Would they then finance those to make that game bigger and better the next time around? Do you know what I mean?
So, and I mean, whether Sony should try and do the same things Xbox are trying to do is the other question. Is like the last time they tried to do what a major competitor did, they saw the MCU and made the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and tried to spin off their own Spider-Verse. No. Do something different.
The thing is the answer to if they have to do what Xbox have done is no, because they don't have the money to compete. They don't.
Microsoft could throw money.
I
Why was-
think the best play is to do a Nintendo and just carve their own little niche, their own little.
And I think they've I think they've already got. I mean, obviously they're treated differently because if you go on Twitter or somewhere, then it's all about the console wars, and it has to be like choose one or the other. And if you can only like one game by bringing another game down and all this bollocks, which only ever applies to Sony. No one's demanding that Nintendo make acquisitions of EA or Capcom or Sega. By the way, they're only demanding it of Sony.
Nintendo are just they're off in their own bubble.
I know I said about this being Nintendo being in their own bubble, but are Sony actually doing anything that different from what Nintendo have been doing in terms of the way they're going?
If they make their own games, they've got their own IPs and first party stuff.
Yeah,
they've been doing this.
Yeah,
on
the same scale.
But this what I'm saying is Sony are focusing on an exclusive market with Horizon, God of War, Spider-Man, etc., etc. Look at what Nintendo have basically done the same thing. They've got Super Mario. They've got their own IPs that they own and are exclusive to them.
Yeah, and like their acquisitions fit in with that as well, because it's not like I mean, obviously they've not got the money like Microsoft to just go and we'll buy Activision-Blizzard or whatever, but that like the logic to the purchases seems to fit in with that, because it's like Blue Point, because they've made all things like the remake of Shadow of the Colossus, the remake of Demon's Souls. They've done all these things for Sony already, so it's like this is a huge part of what we're already doing. It makes sense to you to be in kind of our bubble here, and then the kind of games that we make, which are like the unique IPs, whether it's still there's still stuff like Spider-Man, obviously, which isn't their own, it's Marvel ultimately, but it's a different kind of thing. Like it's a different kind of game, and it feels like I mean, even as someone who's got Game Pass as well and wants to buy an Xbox Series, I feel like the type of games I play on PlayStation and the type of games I play on the Series S, if I got one, wouldn't be the same. It'd be a different thing. Same as the type of games I play on the Switch, are different than the type of games I play on the PlayStation.
I suppose so.
Yeah, and the other thing is as well with the Xbox and PlayStation are buying individual studios rather than publishers.
Microsoft is just like, we'll just
buy the publisher,
yeah,
who obviously then own a lot underneath them.
Yeah,
and so I think that fits Microsoft's business model, because they want that. They don't want to be, you will buy our console for our own IPs, which are like so you'll buy our subscription service to basically binge games, Netflix. Or I suppose we should stop saying Netflix now and start saying Disney Plus, since they've taken over Disney Plus style. But
I've been watching too much Disney Plus lately.
Yeah,
they got Bob's Burgers, and Bob's Burgers is probably one of my favorite cartoon animation. It's so good. It's my comparison is The Office. How when you watch The Office, you have to watch the intro because the song and the intro. It's the same with Bob's Burgers, and it just gives you that same just warm, fuzzy feeling. Watch Bob's Burgers. It's incredible. It's so good.
The only person, if I get into a TV show, I automatically feel disinclined to press skip intro.
I
never skip the intros on anything I really like.
I have to. I watch too much anime, unless it's a new soundtrack for the beginning. Then I watch it the first few times, and then I'm like, okay, okay, next. And then it gets added to a Spotify playlist, and then it just goes through, and it gets confusing. But sorry, there was a bit of a tangent. Watch Bob's Burgers. It's incredible. It's so funny and so stupid. Just watch Bob's Burgers. This is a Bob's Burgers podcast now. We're talking about Bob's Burgers. Sorry, my tangent is gone now. I'm shutting down. Whoop.
Yeah, okay. Zoop.
Zoop. Back to gaming.
Yeah, I forgot, Dale, again with your tangents, bro.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just I'm in a good mood.
I think we just kind of sort of in a roundabout way got to the point of that although the competitors, each of the three big gaming companies are carved out their own lane almost.
Yeah. So is it worth now that we just kind of separate the three of them and just kind of forget this, like, we're better than you because we own a PlayStation attitude, or we're better than you because we own an Xbox? I think as a whole, as an industry, like as a fan base, we just need to stop that.
Yeah,
I know I bring it up unless you blow up Twitter.
I know I do it on here, but it's just because it's funny to wind people up. I don't care what people game on. I have all three consoles minus PlayStation 5 because that's fucking expensive.
And like gold dust, they just whoosh.
They just disappear. They just go, and like I don't have the money at the times that are available, so it's like I'm just not gonna bother till you get some value for me, and then I can actually buy you, you know. But yeah, I think it is time to just drop it all. Like I hate the console wars, but I do like seeing people get wound up, and it makes me laugh. I love seeing people get heated up about things, and it just like seeing people spout just utter nonsense in arguments. Just
so not only does the Activision Blizzard could potentially show Microsoft's true colours, but I think it's shown Dale's as a hypocrite.
It has. I'm sorry. It is quite hypocritical. I do hate the console wars, but I just love the arguments that come from it.
Yeah.
I love Twitter drama. I'm sorry. I do love Twitter drama because it's so funny to read through.
I still haven't when I figure out how I can still follow like gaming news and gaming tweets and opinions on Twitter without following the console war part of that.
Don't get rid of it because it's funny.
I found myself in a similar boat earlier. I'm going to go on a tangent now. This is my turn for one. I was sat downstairs watching Come Dine with me earlier, and I was like, hate this program. I don't like it. And then I was like, there was and there was like some like really like she's like she was a bit bitchy to say the least, and I was like, ooh.
I love it. I love it.
And there was like this like really like stringent couple who were like all uppity and stuff, and I was like, oh, I feel the drama brewing. I'm gonna sit down and watch the next six episodes.
That's why anyone watches that. It's the same with like Storage Wars or something. That guy who goes, yeah,
and then they start like pretending to have a fight, but they just like come up to each other like, this is my lot, and it's like, well, I outbid you. Yeah, sorry.
And then on the camera, like for the candid camera bit, they're all just like proper giving it loads. It's just like, yeah, he thinks he's a big man, but what? If it comes down to it, I'll throw down. It's just like,
I'll throw down. Yeah. But, the console wars do need to end. It's just I like seeing idiots argue about things. It's a little guilty pleasure. I'm sorry, and this is why I say the stuff I do, because it might annoy people, and it just makes me giggle. Yeah. I'm sorry. I gotta be the controversial one, okay? Without being actually controversial.
Without any controversy, is there anything else we can add to this? Do we think there's anything else to come out of this now?
What's next?
What's next? Who's buying?
Yeah.
What did Microsoft buy next?
Just stop. Please.
No, they just announced they buy the indie sector.
Just sort out Activision-Blizzard first, I think, and then.
This is the other observation I want to make is like anywhere else in any other industry across the world, like you see like big massive monopoly companies like gobbling up all these smaller companies, and unless you're like, you know, big capitalism fan or whatever, then your sort of general attitude to this is we all know Dale's the biggest fan of capitalism. We're gonna get him a 10-gallon hat. Around, yeehaw!
Please.
But
Adventure Capitalist was a good game, okay?
But like people in general will look at that and be like, oh god, this, you know, what does this mean? This is, you know, we're losing all this, you know, choice, and everything's just the same, and until it's games, then all of a sudden people start cheering it and like, yay for acquisitions, yay for mergers. Like, okay, like it doesn't. I mean, the only one I can think of comparable is the Disney stuff, which again, like when Disney bought Fox and everyone was like, yeah, we can have the X-Men in the MCU now. And it's like, yeah, but then again, I think because it owns everything and because it's trying to build it into an existing thing, I think the MCU will fall off the rails at some point, to be honest. Or they try and add too many things and it just goes.
Yeah, because the comics are an absolute mess, but they can kind of get away with it. Whereas like everything in the MCU is like interconnecting, and every like narrative meets each other, and all this like there's so like much going on that at some point it's just gonna. I feel like it's just gonna collapse in on itself at some point.
Well, they just get Deadpool in just to kill everyone.
One off, yeah.
Do a 6-hour
Do
movie
you know
where
if
he
they,
just
do
kills
you know if they
everyone.
do a Deadpool kills the universe storyline? I'm game for that. Do it, please.
just like Lloyd's approval.
Lloyd's approval. Lloyd approves that, so you have to do it now.
Yeah, no, my whole thing about the EA is just I'm excited for the esports thing, for hopefully good stuff in that, and I just think adding more value to Game Pass is incredible. That's my yay of it, and also the whole like they actually did it. That's just it. Seeing those figures as a guy that gets excited to find a pound in his pocket. Yeah, just you know.
More money than you could earn in like several million lifetimes.
I don't know. I'd imagine at some point, if I lived that long, I would do something stupid enough to become slightly famous, and then just build off that. That's my hope, anyway. You know.
Just the fame of living long enough. Just like I'm immortal.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
probably what it was. But I'd end up like getting like overly done by tax or something because I've lived for so long, and they put me in a new tax band, and I don't know, something like that happened to me. You know, that's just my luck. But yeah.
Yeah, but that, I mean that's like this is the last point. Just a thought, because again, real real world sports, when big billionaires buy up teams, it's there's generally hugely negative consequences affected with that, and how it affects the sport and how it affects the team.
Yeah,
and it's almost the opposite with esports. Because or at least it seems to be in this. So that's interesting.
I think it works differently though.
Yeah, it's more. It's not them buying a team. They've kind of bought the league, and then they'll be able to restructure, put money into the league, and do things that way. There's a difference in what they're kind of purchasing. But then big companies buy teams. That's what they do. So
I think if you're buying an overall sort of structure, like say if someone brought the Premier, well, Sky pretty much owns the Premier League, but and they just all they care about is money. But if you bought like a league where you could make up you could make up the rule set, and you could make it, so you could kind of actually make it productive and like improve on like the COD League, for example. I completely head's all over. My point's gone.
wait, let Lloyd buffer for a second.
Yeah, Lloyd's buffering.
Phil, Sonic, huh? It's good old game. Be a shame if Microsoft bought that.
I already have all the good Sonic games because they're all on the Mega Drive, so it's fine.
Whoa! Don't speak trash about Mania like that.
Oh well, I've got Sonic Mania as well.
Sonic Mania is the best Sonic game.
My point's gone. It's gone.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw a bit of controversy out there while you were buffering to see how Phil responded to my.
I was just, I see now, like I've got the good ones, and they go in open world with it, which is going to be terrible. So, well, it might not be terrible. I'm not that judgy, but for the bit it worked.
Let's just hope the next Sonic game has Sonic turn into a werewolf. That would be cool,
No more. No more werewolves.
Just hear the Discord leaving noise. Phil's gone.
Right, it's time for I think the bit that everyone comes here for, the jingle.
Oh wait, what for? What, the news? Yes, the news. No, that was awful. Wait, give me a beat. I need a beat. No.
Bum.
Oh, it's the news. The news is starting. It's the news with Uncapped with Phil, Lloyd, and Dale. We're going to say the news. We just talked about a lot of news. There was probably the biggest news, but here's some smaller news to go with your big news.
I feel like that could be more succinct.
Yeah. It's some more news. There we go.
Some more news.
So we'll start off with Riot Games have announced that Valorant will make the game less toxic with player curated muted. Oh my god.
Mutated words?
Muted
What are words
word
doing?
list.
The X-Men have changed.
So they came out with a statement basically which said, "We admit that some players are often smarter than our automated bad word detection system and continually find creative ways to type things we don't want to in chat. This is why we need your help to make our detections better. Help us help you. We're hoping that we can leverage the list that you and others create to make the chat less toxic by comparing them across regions and using the data we collect to improve our own detections of bad words. Thanks in advance for all that are willing to lend a hand, and let's make Valorant a better place for everyone." Thoughts?
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's kind of what Phil was talking about the other week, wasn't it? Mr. Spencer, sorry, different Phil, with the whole ban list.
I didn't realise you were on a first name basis, to be honest.
Yeah, I spoke to him the other day. I was the one that was like, "Yeah, go for the 70."
Mr. Spencer to you.
We've already established that Dale's a console war fan. He's also got an extremely toxic parasocial relationship with Phil Spencer.
Nah, nah, it's good. It's that same thing of just they're not going to catch everything. Like, I mean, we're all streamers. We all have banned word lists. Yeah. Things still come through.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't stop it. People are weirdly clever in how they
Riot do something good last week as well.
I don't know.
I think we mentioned something last week. I can't remember.
Wait. I'm looking at the news.
Oh, they were doing the investigation into the
TSM
Reginald the bullying.
Yeah,
which is a bit ironic since there's a load of stuff going on within there, isn't it? Like Riot got some stuff going on.
Yeah, Riot have been positive steps though. This is.
But yeah, no, this is great.
This is a positive step.
Obviously, like I love esports. I love competitive games, but it is a very, very toxic scene. I think any competitive scene is going to be toxic, and when you put the anonymity behind like online gaming, it gets much worse.
Yeah.
So anything to combat that is good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Anything to add, Phil?
I think Dale said it all. Do that. Although it should be enough to just say to people, "Don't be a dick." But apparently it's not.
Nope. Really not. So Dale's come up to us with his fantastic esports news next. So the British Esports Association is to open a Sunderland campus where they'll train. This
is so cool.
This is so cool. This location will nurture and support the next generation of talent as interest and engagement in esports grows in the UK.
Mm-hmm. So it's not just a campus to train like players and stuff like that. It's coaches. It's all aspects of esports. It's gonna act as the hub for the British esports team.
So it's kind of a more grassroots sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've spoke to a couple of the British esports people, and their love and passion for the esports and the British scene is just. Like it's intoxicating. It's like I love it.
So am I? I've got to compare this to something that I. Sorry,
no, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. So is this the equivalent of like the FA's grassroots structure thing, where they kind of
Is this? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm all for this. Where they have the younger leagues, like the under 15s. National leagues and,
so they already like help out with all the like the university and the high school leagues and helping and encouraging high schools and universities to have this stuff available for people to compete and stuff, because like going through school, I mean, I played football growing up, and I know you did as well, Lloyd. But like, if I had the option to sit there and play Call of Duty, I'd drop everything in a heartbeat to do that, because that's what I love. You know,
esports follows a more like American way of sports, isn't it? It's not like in Britain we kind of have like outside clubs that will like under 15s, like local teams, like for example for us, like Lanromney football team. That will then grow up into the national leagues and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, whereas in America, it's a lot more college and school based.
Yeah, but
scholarships and stuff like that.
I mean, I think there's different ways. Other things are trying to break out of that, but that is, yeah, you're right. That's kind of like the main thing. But then you have like
Cardiff Met used to have a team.
you have our team.
Yeah.
Most universities now have esports teams, but
Okay.
yes, it's really interesting. It's really cool. Something that I really wish that I had growing up.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that it's coming in, you know, for future generations to take it a lot more seriously and a lot more thing. And I'm not sure, like I haven't read too much into it other than the like surface article. But like
Yeah.
I know there's all like degrees and stuff in esports coming through and college courses and stuff. So I mean, I'd imagine from like a sports perspective, you could just almost copy and paste a lot of the modules and then adjust them into esports stuff. I'd imagine, right? I mean, you know, there's still all the coaching, there's still all the, you know, it's the analysis,
Analysis, yeah.
analysis and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I don't know, this
Yeah.
is really cool,
Yeah,
really cool.
there's like I think the thing is obviously there's different like the physical side of things is used for a very because like I think you still need like it's a lot more mental, isn't it? Like there's obviously the
Yeah,
physical side of
yeah,
it.
they do
Um,
have a lot of like
but I
physical
think
stuff, but
like
it's
that sort
very
of
mental.
I think having that having some sort of physicality, I think is like physical exercise and stuff is obviously good for mental health and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think
This is
it's
something
used in a
you
very
see.
different way.
Yeah, you see a lot of professional teams have like workout regimes and stuff like that into their stuff to keep all that. And I've seen a lot more that annoying Twitter Spaces thing. I hate Twitter Spaces so much, but
I've
there's a
never
lot
used
more.
it.
There's a lot. I've been popping in and out and stuff to it. I guess I hate it because I've not used it much.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more talk on mental well being in the esports scene and stuff. So it's nice to see all this stuff come through,
Yeah.
and the toxicity being challenged because this stuff will change toxicity. Well,
Oh yeah.
help
Yeah.
change toxicity. You know, if you go into a school for it and they're seeing you blurt out all the slurs under the sun when you get killed, you're not gonna stay there. You know, you're gonna be.
I think
It's the kind of culture that they cultivate, isn't it? So it's like if they bring a positive culture into it, it hopefully
and
changes over time. And
I think
Yeah.
dealing with stress, because like dealing with the stress of the game and stuff, and how you take that out, and the way like the words you can use could be so powerful as well. So like,
Yeah.
say, for example, you're a captain of a team or whatever, you know, learning how to speak to those people
To your
who are
team,
around
yeah.
you and stuff, and you know, showing support because like I think that just goes into everyday life now. I think, and it's
Yeah,
such an
yeah.
important part of everyday life.
It's that whole thing from last week with Reginald, wasn't it? The like how you speak to, and like the whole like get good, you're trash kids, or like. And I know when you're playing against people and you're like, oh, I chat on him, I beat, you know, you say stuff like that. But when you're saying it to your own team and bringing them down,
Yeah,
it's very commonplace to belittle in the competitive scene rather than be like, oh, okay, listen, we'll work on that. Rather than, you know, but I guess
and
there's a lot of pressure.
I think you're a
there's
lot better in terms of. I think this applies mentoring and developing people in any sphere, but it's a lot more effective to build people up than to try and like talk them down when they don't do what you want. It's like, you know, constructive criticism, being helpful, being basically not again just you know the radical notion that you cannot be a twat.
This is the thing is you see it a lot, and I see it a lot with like articles and YouTube videos about insert X player that's a champion, toxic or genius, and it's like, well, that toxicity, and then it's like some teams have said that the toxicity has been the way that they've won is because they know that, you know, it's weird. It's a very strange thing, but
but if
stuff is
people
incredible.
are doing stuff that pleases you basically because they're afraid of you,
it's not a good thing.
That's
not a good thing.
No, but
we wouldn't accept that in the everyday workplace. Why should we expect it in sports?
Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, there's a lot of things at the moment in esports that are just making me excited. And go on, sorry.
Go on. I was just gonna.
I was just gonna say about British esports, just to like think they're incredible. The stuff they're doing, they got like the woman in esports stuff that they're pushing and stuff, and
Yeah.
they're just doing some wicked stuff here. And it's just so cool. I love it. It's just awesome. Oh,
Yeah, there's because like obviously I'm a big sports fan outside of gaming as well. Like I love my football, and there's two big things that are coming up at the moment a lot in like football, for example, in terms of coaches. So I hope like from a professional sports sort of thing, I hope I would really like to see them train up their coaches to be good coaches, and like I said about the
yeah,
captains being able to speak. And the other thing is the rejection side of things, because obviously we've seen in football there's a real big downside to the youth side of football because they're just churning out players, and the players that are getting rejected are treated like crap, quite frankly. And
yeah,
I really hope that is another thing that they're teaching those coaches to kind of deal with that side of things a bit better, and hopefully like you
definitely.
know and coach the players as well to deal with that rejection better and how to bounce back and give them another option, because I know a lot of football clubs and stuff. I've got to like I'm sorry I'm comparing this to football,
No,
but
no, it
um,
applies. It really
yeah,
does apply.
like I hope they're training them up, because I don't know how this is going to work. But if it is like a youth system, I really hope they're training them to get like a good job outside of esports and
I
stuff as
think
well.
I think that's their thing as well. Is they're very focused on that. They're very focused on training up. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
But,
what you're saying? Sorry, I was lost in what you were saying. It applies so much.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's so thing, and obviously with how competitive the competitive esports scene. I use competitive twice then is as well, and the amount of people that actually make it's thing.
But yeah, just to round that up, there's a nice little quote at the bottom there, which says the UK is Europe's second biggest video game market and ranks sixth globally. This speaks to the potential of esports, which will capitalise on gamers' popularity, with talented competitors emerging and growing audience keen to spectate and enjoy esports as a leisure activity. I think that is a nice little
It was a
thing
nice little roundup.
to round things off there, and should get everyone excited. Again, esports.
It's me.
It's they'll so it's expected. Well, it will apparently, according to this title, grow to esports viewership worldwide will grow to 519 million by 2024.
That's a
Uh,
number.
that is a number. And associations find those who compete or attend esports spend up to 84% more on gaming than core gamers.
I put this in because it's interesting with the whole Halo stuff.
Yeah.
And Microsoft's push on that, and like they're talking about esports fans spending what was it, 80 something percent more? I've lost the
Spending
number now.
84% more. Yeah.
84% more. Like if you can push those esports scenes in those games and make them good for the esports, you're gonna make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Like to make it, you know, as plain as text. Like yeah. So I just thought it was an interesting number, interesting stats, and it just
looking at
shows
the
how much.
stats now.
It's a lot of numbers in there.
Yeah, I can't believe how like I didn't realize Germany. I knew it was big for games, but I didn't realize it was that big in esports.
Some
Yeah, it's
big
huge.
German teams. I mean, like
Bigger than China. Jesus.
name the big German football teams, Lloyd.
Munich, Munich won.
Yeah,
Right.
Munich. I'm pretty sure they've got teams.
Dortmund.
Dortmund's have got
I think
teams. I'm pretty
Hamburg.
sure.
No, not Hamburg. What's the one begins with? I think it's Wolfensburg.
Oh, I don't know.
They're green. I think they're one of them because they've bought in, haven't
They're
they?
green.
They're green. They're green or white.
Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, and the green one.
The green one, yeah.
The green one.
Green.
Yeah.
Oh, Red Bull. Red Bull.
Red Bull.
Salzburg.
Yeah. I mean, Red Bull
Yeah.
esports.
Salzburg are doing. Is this no? It's Salzburg are a different country.
Are you okay, Lloyd?
I think no, it is No, is it? I'm just gonna. I'm not good at German teams.
I'm completely lost as to what point we're trying to make about
Yeah,
at this
Salzburg.
point.
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
they're
it's basically we were just talking about German esports and that it's actually a massive thing. It's cool. Just the whole esports thing over the past 2 years has just excited me. Like it's cool.
Who did you say it was bigger than? The German was it the German esports specifically or German gaming market?
It was so in terms of esports viewers, they are bigger than China, and they are 10 million less than them in core gamers.
See, I would have thought. Yeah, I was a bit. If you said bigger than Japan, I probably would have been surprised because I don't know
They
whether
are
it's just me, but I always think Japan
South Korea,
more than
sorry.
China as far as gaming goes, because doesn't China like massively restrict how much games you can play? Or is that
Like-
just kids?
Well, that's
China is like one of the
China.
China one of the biggest markets.
Yeah, China's
Yeah, but they've also got the restrictions on
Yeah,
how many hours of
restrictions and stuff.
yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking of esports teams. German esports teams in G2. They're like one of the biggest names in gaming, and and FC Schalke 04 esports is huge. Schalke, that's the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, SK Gaming as well. So yeah, that's cool.
It's Leipzig as well, the Red Bull team, not Salzburg. Salzburg are Austrian.
Well,
Sorry,
you got there in the end. Lloyd,
I've got there. It's one of the Red Bull teams. I'm pretty sure they might have something to do with esports because of Red Bull. But
another bit of news that I didn't put in, just a quick headline is Pokemon Unite has been announced to be at the Pokemon World Championships. It's going to have its own worlds, which is really, really cool.
Ooh.
I don't think either of you play it or care, but anyone that listens to like Unite, it's cool. it's really cool.
Yes,
just Pokemon just need to bring back
Pokemoning.
Pokemon just need to bring back. What was the fighting game? What was the Pokemon fighting game? Pokken tournament. Just another Pokken tournament. Nintendo win then.
Yeah, we need that. Talking of Pokemon, there's been some leaks for Legends of Arceus.
And not just some leaks.
Yeah,
the entire thing's been leaked.
Yeah, so if you're on the internet and everything else, avoid at all costs if you don't want spoilers.
The same thing happened to didn't they leak the PS4 build of Horizon Forbidden West like last week as well, or the week before. So it basically just stay the hell away from the internet if you want those. I mean, to be honest, there comes a point when a game's coming out where it's like, right, I'm not going to look anymore. I want to go into it and play it.
Yeah, I get the excitement around like wanting to know what happens, but I've never understood
spoiling it.
The leaks, like when they're huge, it makes no sense to me.
Yeah. I guess people are more interested in this than other games, though, because it's very new. And Pokemon have kind of confirmed that it's a main series game, too.
Yeah. Well, they can't because it's set so far in front.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's weird.
Pretty interesting.
Because in like some distributor copies or something of... And some places are like openly selling it and stuff. Really weird.
Yeah, openly. So there's even some early copies being openly distributed in certain parts of the world, according to several reports on Twitter. Multiple Pokemon communities have been warning about the leaks to spread the word. Again, the game isn't scheduled yet. So yeah, it's being distributed early, according to some. And there's been murder on the internet.
Murder on the internet.
Murder on the internet. Yeah.
I'm surprised. The internet is usually such a genteel place.
It's a nice place. You can find pictures of cats and dogs on there, so I mean, it can't be all bad. You know. And I included cats, and I'm not a cat person, so.
Yeah. And we got some. We got some news from the for the Stardew fans.
Oh, mate, this game looks. Oh, I'm so excited.
They teased his second game. Haunted Chocolatier.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the tease yet. But,
it's been teased for quite some time. I think they're releasing more. Yeah,
they're on about releasing some bits and bobs.
Yeah. Obviously you know how much I love Stardew. Like, I put so
Is it going to be the same style of game or different?
It's a different style of game, but in the same kind of like artwork and stuff. A bit more refined in the artwork and things like that. But I know Lauren's going to be pretty excited for this game because essentially you just make chocolate, and my wife Lauren is quite addicted to chocolate, so this will be a big game for her.
Wow, call her out, why don't you?
She come in here and tell you herself.
Would she still like the chocolate if there was a chance it was haunted? Like she ate it and she ate a ghost.
I don't
Do you
think
know
she'd
what?
care.
I've seen her eat chocolate.
Yeah, I don't think she'd care. She wouldn't.
Like, you're right, mate. You want some?
No, I'm pretty excited for this one.
Yeah.
This is
I kind of hope they keep that because I think we said before that Stardew has like that charm to it, and
such
yeah. So
charm.
I hope it doesn't. It's not like I don't think it will be a massive overhaul in terms of like graphical quality, but I kind of hope that pixelated thing stays.
Yeah, the
And,
music as well,
yeah,
just the characters. Yeah, I think
because
you know.
playing Let's Build a Zoo was a charm. Like I loved
Yeah,
playing it
that's a
because it was
charming
just
game.
like that pixel art and that top down and everything. So I kind of hope it stays the same.
Yeah, I mean
But
the artwork and stuff from what I've looked is very similar, but
pretty
it's
much
just a bit more
yeah.
refined and a bit more in
Okay.
its own style because obviously
Yeah.
it's a different place, different theme and
Yeah. I
yeah.
haven't like I kind of saw it teased a couple of months ago because I think we were in the car when it was we were together at some point when it was teased the first
Oh
time.
yeah, I got quite excited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, so but I haven't really looked into it. So I might have a nose after this now and
do it. It looks good.
yeah.
It looks good.
Yeah, so that's our news.
Wait, you missed the last piece of
Oh, did I?
news.
Did I miss another piece?
Yeah, I brought a few this today. I've been prepping quite a bit today.
It's Tilted Towers.
Tilted
I
Towers is
did.
back in
Sorry, it was
Fortnite.
off my screen.
Oh,
Tilted
possibly
Towers.
possibly one of the most iconic places in video games is back. So if you play Fortnite, you know you're gonna land tilted.
Do you
Sorry,
play
I just.
Fortnite, Phil? I don't.
Have you ever heard of Tilted Towers though, Phil, from
Yeah.
memes and stuff?
I mean, I've got to admit that like the level of knowledge of Fortnite is next to non-existent. I mean, I'm more than happy to be educated on it because, like I say, I did try and give the game a go, and like I played it for about an hour, and I spent most of that hour really confused about what was going on. I didn't really do anything of any use.
Fortnite stream.
So yeah, just sort of just a teaching boomer Phil how to play Fortnite.
You've done a mode where you don't have to build anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're doing something like that, right?
I'll play that. I'm okay at shooting. Like,
no, it's fine. I'll get my brother in. He knows how to build. He'll build for us, and we'll all shoot. just look. But no, I thought it was quite a fun little nice bit of news to round up on.
Yeah, so. that is. Sorry, I didn't see it in the corner.
It's fine. I was looking at it and I was like, yo, I can't wait to say Let's Land Tilted, boys. And he ignored it. And I was like, please don't do that.
Sorry for my
don't ignore my last bit of news.
I know. I prepped the news today. I even had a good little song to come in,
Well, I was struggling to have a look past the Activision-Blizzard stuff, to be honest.
One I didn't prep, but just before we started, I caught because it just came out. I think it was the story trailer for Horizon came out today, and it's not news because everyone knows it's already coming out. But I just watched that, and it was just like, oh, I can't wait! I'm very excited.
I'm still like 50-50 on whether I want to play the actual first game. Like I want to, but I know how bad my attention span is with games. And like, look at Deathloop. I played it for 20 minutes. It's probably a decent game. Well, I mean, it won Game of the Year, so it's got to be okay. But like, I'm running around with a hunting horn, bopping things on the head while it sings and stuff. I'm playing Monster. I'm good. So yeah.
I mean, that's what we can do. You walk me through Fortnite, and I'll walk you through Horizon.
I'm gonna have to walk myself through Fortnite first because I haven't played this since like season 2, maybe even season 1. Whenever Tilted was like put into the game is when I played it, and I dropped Tilted all the time because everyone dropped Tilted because that's just what you do.
So
before we round out, we'll have to mention about next week because I'm not sure if it's going to be a solo with you two podcast or miss next because I'm away next week.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to update everyone on what's going on with that.
Yeah. So Dale's going away.
I am. It's my anniversary, so
And he didn't give us enough time to to plan.
I said a long time ago, actually.
No, this is the first we're hearing
We
about it.
we did specifically say that he could interrupt his romance to come and like dial into a Discord call with us to like just listen, love. I know that we're like our anniversary, but
I don't think you want drunk Dale in on a podcast.
Nope.
Like, listen, guys, right? Monster Hunter may actually be the best bit of media.
Well, maybe we should have Lauren on as a guest to give her a break from Dale.
Dale, she could be the third.
You'll have to talk to Lauren exclusively about Binding of Isaac, The Witcher, and Overwatch. I couldn't think of the game then. That'd be the podcast.
Nice.
Which isn't a bad list of games, you know.
So we'll see, and we'll update everyone on our socials, which brings me nicely to the lovely little bit of call of action that we got come in.
Your jingle for the socials. It's the socials.
So if you want to catch us, we will be uploading videos to our YouTube at uncapped.com. No, it's Uncapped Gaming at Uncapped Gaming, and you can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the same name. And so we shall see you very soon. Don't know when, because Dale's going away. And I am. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a wonderful time.
Really X'd out of the conversation.